Good evening. Welcome to the Dothan Business Hall of Fame's 13th annual banquet and induction ceremony. Thank you for joining us this evening. I think we have Jeff Coleman, Coleman World Group, to thank for this, for starting us off with this event 13 so years ago. So thanks for Jeff's leadership in getting us started. I'm so glad we were able to continue it. My name is Jeff Williams. I'm the chairman of the Dothan Area Chamber of Commerce for this year, and it's my honor to be your MC for this evening. Before coming here tonight, my wife Jill told me, Jeff, don't try to be charming, don't try to be witty, don't try to be intellectual, just be yourself. So this is all you got tonight. So I'm going to bring up folks that are a lot more entertaining than me, starting with Pastor Kyle Gatlin at Covenant United Methodist for give our invocation and our blessing.
I also will not be witty or charming either. That's pretty easy for me to do as well. Let us pray. God, I thank you for this city. I thank you for the people in this room that give so much to this city. And I particularly give you thanks for our inductees, for their hard work, for their sacrifice, and for all that they have done for this community. And I thank you that we live in this place that has been blessed and continues to be blessed with wonderful business leaders and wonderful leadership in our government. And for all these people in this room, for all they do to make this a wonderful place to live, the place that I've lived since '99. And I am grateful to be a part of this awesome community. We thank you for the opportunity that we can come together tonight to continue to share our friendship, continue to share the vision that we have for this community. And I ask that you would continue to pour out your Spirit and bless all of us in the days to come. I also thank you for the meal that we get to have tonight, and may the conversation around our tables be encouraging, not just to ourselves, but to your ears as well. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Pastor, thank you. Pastor, thank you. We are truly blessed to live in Dothan and the Wiregrass. A lot of things in Dothan would not happen without Mike Schmitz and Mike Schmitz Automotive Group. I would like to invite Mike Schmitz up to say a few words as our presenting sponsor. Thank you for all you do, sir.
Woo-woo! Woo-hoo-hoo! On behalf of my partner, Paul Padgett, Mercedes, Hyundai, Dothan Marine, Tri-State Body Shop, Omni Marketing, we're proud to support this. And I do want to say, on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce and the Young Professionals, if you look around, many people you see have done incredible things in our community. So to narrow this down to 3 folks that deserve this is very difficult, because so many people do. And we go back to the beginning of Dothan and the Wiregrass. So, but we have 3 incredible honorees, and so we're grateful to them, and we honor them, and we have an incredible mayor. A lot of great things are happening, and we want him to feel comfortable tonight. So Pat Thomas and Mark Cover, come on down. Y'all look to your left or right. We love you, Mayor. We appreciate you. I know Miss Angie doesn't want me to love you so much, but we love you, and we're grateful. So thank you all for being here. God bless you.
Tonight's a very special night. We begin our induction ceremony. We'd like to take a moment to recognize all the past Hall of Fame laureates. We have a video, and we'd like to get that started. Dothan sure is an impressive place to house this many laureates, this many people that we should be so proud to honor. What a great group of folks, and that we just keep honoring more. Tonight's a very special night as we begin our induction ceremony. So the Dothan Business Hall of Fame was established in May of 2011 by the Dothan Area Chamber of Commerce and by the Dothan Area Young Professionals. Hall of Fame's mission is to pay recognition to local business leaders who have made an impact on our community by promoting the enterprise system of entrepreneurship, to honor these individuals who have spent a lifetime demonstrating civic leadership, philanthropy, humanitarianism, and making Dothan a better place to live for all of us. There's a reason I wore my tie tonight. So I thought I could put the tie up where clothes go to die, back in my closet, where if you forget about it, we'll go to Goodwill in a while. No, the Dothan Chamber brought me back. This event brought my ties back, so I'm happy to wear them for this event, though. The Hall of Fame plaques are in our Dothan Area Chamber. They're located in a prominent location where they can be seen by all chamber members, prospective members, industrial prospects, visitors, and the general public to know that we honor those that have come before us and those that have led us in this community. This year's laureates will be added to that wall, and you'll soon be able to see their plaque on the wall. This time I'd like to welcome Christina Ross with the Dothan Area Young Professionals.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Christina Ross, and I'm the Vice Chair for the Dothan Area Young Professionals. The Dothan Area Young Professionals are honored to have been asked to partner with the Chamber for this Business Hall of Fame recognition program. With a mission to enrich our community by uniting and developing young professionals, the Dothan Area Young Professionals feel that being a part of this program not only enhances our objective, but also gives us the opportunity to further support participation in philanthropic activities. Congratulations to each of tonight's inductees.
Thank you, Christina, and we appreciate all that the Dothan Area Young Professionals do for this community and the business community as a whole. Our first laureate this evening is Alan Clark, DSI Security Services. We have a video from Alan.
Alan Clark's leadership at DSI Security Services has been crucial to the company's growth and success. He has positioned it as one of the nation's largest privately owned security firms, starting from a small company his late father established in 1969.
In college at the University of Alabama, he sold janitorial supplies to fraternity houses, sorority houses, things like that. So he's always been an entrepreneur in my mind. You know, our grandfather was in law enforcement, but my dad's never been in law enforcement. He went to school and had hopes of going to the FBI, and obviously that didn't work out. He couldn't afford to live off the salary that he was offered at the time. So, you know, next thing you do, you come back to Dothan, Alabama, and work for your father and open a yogurt shop. And you know, he came back to Dothan. I think he had 4 or 5 accounts that my granddad had, and you know, he's grown the business since then. So he moved back to Dothan in the late 70s, and since then, our business has really taken off because of what Dad's done and his mindset of taking care of customers and you know, doing what it takes, jumping through hoops to make people happy and provide good service, whatever that service is.
As a dynamic leader, Clark has overseen DSI's expansion from a regional security company to a national powerhouse. The company now provides top-tier security services across various industries, including commercial and industrial sites, educational institutions, and government facilities. Clark's vision for DSI Security Services focuses on providing high-quality, customized security solutions. His leadership has improved service delivery, implemented advanced security technologies, and strengthened client relationships, establishing DSI as a professional and excellent player in the security industry.
People ask me quite often, why are you here 34 years later? The simple answer is Alan Clark. I'm here and stay here because of what Alan not only has done for this company, but what he continues to do for this company. Alan as a leader has not just mentored me in business, but has mentored me in life. He's taught me more about being a father, being a husband, being a great leader, than he has really about being a good security practitioner. He's taught me that as well, but it's the life lessons that I've learned from Alan that I'll carry with me the rest of my life. And Alan is the type of guy, he's the type of business person that he never celebrates individual achievements. In 30 plus years of knowing Alan, I've never heard him brag on himself or celebrate things that he's done. It's always been about the team.
Clark has expanded DSI's operations and prioritized building a strong internal culture that values integrity, teamwork, and continuous improvement. He has invested in employee training and development, ensuring a highly skilled and motivated workforce. His leadership has driven the company's growth and solidified its role as a trusted security solutions provider nationwide. Alan Clark's visionary leadership and dedication to the community are best exemplified by his transformation of the historic Coca-Cola plant into one of Dothan's premier event and concert venues, now known simply as The Plant. Clark's philanthropic efforts have had a lasting impact on the community, supporting education, health services, and various charities. Most recently, he became the premier sponsor of the second annual Sheriff's Cup Golf Tournament, benefiting the Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranch, an organization close to his father, A.B. Clark. As a family-owned business, it's evident that family is very important to Alan. He is married to Marty Clark and has 3 grown children and 7 grandchildren.
I remember Dad telling me about how Mike Halford came and basically got on his knees and begged to him not to go out to Washington State and some of these other locations, Illinois, with his national account with Tyson Foods. But Dad being a visionary and knowing that this could take us to the next level, and it did. It really showed us that we have the opportunities to grow outside of the Southeast and to do things in the North, Midwest, Northeast, West Coast, Pacific Northwest, all these locations that there are opportunities for us, but you got to take that chance. It's almost like an intuition with him to make these leaps and to go do things that have never been done for our company before. And I feel like that was one of those situations. Again, not being there present at the time, but he knew that we had to do more outside of our current footprint to eventually grow to where we are today. And I think that's the intuition and that vision that he has. And I don't know if everybody's got that. And I think that's a good characteristic and trait to have.
I really need to sit down. That was wonderful. It's amazing what you pay your son and 2 sons and Eddie Srail to do for you. Anyway. First of all, I wanted to just express my deep appreciation to the Dothan Area Chamber of Commerce and the Young Professional Group. They are a great group, and I'm just honored. To be honest with you, I'm honored just to be in the presence of these leaders of Dothan, Alabama. I want to tell you all a quick story, and don't take this wrong. You'll hear a few things here until I finish. But a few months ago, I was Charles Owens and I. You know Charles, he was laureate last year. We go to lunch, hopefully try it once a week. Usually on Friday, we'll go eat somewhere. And I got a little farm in Graceville, Florida. This particular Friday, we were riding around my little farm vehicle, and I get a text from Bob Woodall. I said, can I call you now? And I said, okay. So we stopped. Charles and I did. We were checking the cows, riding around talking big. Charles was. And so I stopped and I stood up outside the vehicle, and Charles stood on the front, and I put it on speaker, and I didn't know what it was about, to be honest with you. And Bob said I had been chosen for this award. And I'll be honest with you, I was honored, but I also felt like, am I worthy of that award? So I told Bob, I said, Bob, let me think about it. Let me think about it. So Charles and I got in the ATV and rode to my little house and got on the patio out there, my little pond I got, and we drove about half a mile, and we got there. We didn't say one word after Bob had called me, because Charles saw how I was looking. Charles sits down and says, Alan, you need to do this. They let me in, they'll let anybody in. That made me feel real good, you know what I mean? And the worst part of this whole process to me is we got a call, they wanted a picture for the bronze whatever, and I thought they wanted a current picture. I saw David and Matt's picture. Those are 10, 15 years ago. Marty said, Alan, you need to change your picture. So we went back to ours up about 10 years too, so we could look about the same age. But first of all, I want to just talk about my mother and father. They always supported me, whatever I did. You know, Daddy was sheriff. Daddy was not a politician. He was a farmer. He was in the timber business. He ran for sheriff. I don't know why he ran for sheriff, but he ran. He ran against the incumbent and won by 14 or 15 votes. 4 terms. Daddy was a business person really more than he was law enforcement. He'd never been in law enforcement before. With his vision, as Deborah said, Ed, he saw a need for a security company. He started it. Daddy was a hard-working guy, real hard-working guy, but he demanded a lot from me and Ken. I'll tell you a little situation. I came home one weekend from Alabama, and we had to haul cows the next day, and at 5:30, we stayed out. I stayed a little later than I should have. Daddy didn't care what time I got home in the morning. Daddy would go to the coffee shop, come back, knock on the window, Ken knows, and expect us to run out the door. That's the kind of guy he was. He didn't care if I got home at 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30, we were going to haul cows. That's what he was. Mother was loving. Mother thought that her children were perfect. And I kind of was. George Flowers always says that there's 2 Clarks. There's Alan, the bad boy, and Ken, the good boy. And he's right there too. But Mother was, I actually had to tell Mother before she passed a few years ago that her kids really were not perfect. She didn't believe that. In 1974, I was dating a young lady at the University of Alabama from Laurel, Mississippi. And a few months after we were dating, I was a Sigma Nu, and we had a lot of friends come up. And she asked me one day, she said, she'd never been to Dothan. What's this about Dothan, Alabama? All your friends want to move home. I never thought about that, but I did want to move home. I never had a desire. I had an offer in D.C. for the FBI when I got out of college. Like Deborah said, it was like $12,000. And I went, God, how you live on that? But anyway, I came home and started working with a company. But Marty asked that question, and it rang a bell. And I didn't think about it at the time, but it's very, very important. Why do people want to move back to Dothan, Alabama? All my friends were not able to come back to Dothan, Alabama because they didn't have a job or what it may be. They didn't move, but they wanted to. Marty gave me 3 wonderful kids, 2 boys and 1 daughter, 7 grandkids, and I got my kids got great spouses, a good life. My motivation has always been, to be honest with you, is selfish, because I always wanted my kids, if they wanted to move home to Dothan. I told all 3 of my kids, we have a company here. There's no fat. There's no, you got to kind of work. You got to push it to another level, and they have. Boyd's senior vice president, sales and marketing. When he was at Alabama, left, wanted to spend a year in Montana. He did. I visited him one week in July, and I said, "Boyd, what's your plan?" He was cutting grass. About 4 or 5 guys lived there cutting grass. I said, "What's your plans?" He said, "Dad, I'd like to come home 3 or 4 months." Well, a month later, in my office, he walks in with a scraggy beard and a little ponytail about that long. He said, "Dad, I'm ready to go back. I'm ready to go to work." I said, "Son, you got to shave and you got to cut that ponytail off." He was gone. About an hour, came back, and Stacy Sorrells, who'd been 35 years, didn't even recognize him. We came back in. Devers, the senior vice president of operations and technology. It's weird. I got 2 sons that totally opposite. One's in marketing sales, one that fits him, Boyd, and I got one who's got an accounting degree and got an MBA from Alabama. Devers in operations and technology. Devers got the opportunity to go to Europe, Italy 1 year to study, and the rest of the family went over there for 10 days after we were through. And the last night we were there, we were in a hotel area, me and him, Marty on the bed, whatever. And he said, "Dad, I'd like to come here and live a little bit." I said, "Son, I'll tell you what, that's great, but I'm not paying for it." I said, but have you ever thought about, I don't know if he ever remembers this, have you ever thought about moving home to Dothan, Alabama, and make it a better place to live? And then 100 years from now, people want to come there and see what you've done? And he did. Devers had an opportunity when he finished his MBA to go to work with Hunt Oil. The economy tanked. He already had a job, and it tanked. And I called him one day. I said, "We got a position in Dothan, and you want to take it?" He said, "I'll take it." So he's here doing a great job. Mary Neal, my daughter, worked for DSI in Birmingham, moved to Dothan, met this guy in Birmingham. Maybe a mistake. They did marry. Where's he at? He's here. Just kidding. So he moved her back to Birmingham. I have 2 grandkids with her. Mary Neal, we do we do a few concerts, Panama City. Boyd heads that up. And in 2017, Darius Rucker was down there. We rented a van, had about 15 people, 15 or so friends, picked us up in his van. We'd hired DSI guy. After it was over, and Marty loves Darius Rucker, I was in the front seat, the driver, and I said, "Why can't we do this in Dothan, Alabama?" And Mary Neal, first thing she said, "Daddy, if you're going to do it, you need to do it downtown." And don't ask me why. And Danny Sharp, I may be wrong here. Danny Sharp, I'd heard years before that we were trying to get a baseball team here. And the Coke plant was maybe a possibility. I heard it was too small. I don't think it's true or not. But either way, anyway, within a month's time, the Clark family had bought the Coca-Cola bottling plant. I always wanted, when I was chairman of the chamber, I always thought, how do we keep our kids here? They got to have a good job, good education, and quality of life. Those 3 things alone. And I'm so amazed. I love the young professional group. There's so many young people here. It's amazing. Our church Sunday, I told our preacher, I've never seen so many young people and children. Very, very great. Dothan is a unique place. We don't have rivers running through our town, or we don't have great mountains out here, or our beach. We're close to it, not close. We have great people. They work hard to make this place a better place to live. A couple years ago, I got a call from a guy, Cam Marston, I think his name was. I don't know why he called me. He does a podcast radio show. And he asked me, he said, "Can you call in?" We talked. He sent me a letter of 4 or 5 things he wanted me to talk about. One of them was my favorite book. And to be honest with you, I never thought about my favorite book. But my favorite book is, and y'all may have heard of it, it's called Acres of Diamonds. It's really a small book, kind of the kind of reading I do, like that small. But it's about, in a nutshell, I don't know what my time looks like now. I know we're close. Here's my last story. It's about, and look it up, it's about a family who had a big farm in Egypt for years and years and years, hundreds of years. Very successful farm. Cattle, they grew stuff. But the guy, the owner at the time, had heard about the diamonds. He wanted to get in the diamond business. So he sold his farm and moved and traveled the world trying to find diamonds. He did not find diamonds, but the people who bought his land, one day the camel was supposedly drinking out of the creek, and there was something shiny there, picked it up, and they found out it was diamonds. That land had the largest diamond mine in the world on it. The moral of the story to me is what motivates me is, whatever you have in life, good family, good job, we all want to think it's green on the other side. It's not all. Take what you got. If it's a security company, a farm, take what you got and make the best out of it. Here's my last thing. I'm going to cut it short. Tom Sorrells, right there, former DA. I know Eddie, I've heard the story 10,000 times. Tom Sorrells called me about 34 years ago and said, "Alan, Eddie Sorrells needs a job." And I said, "Oh my God," because the last time I seen Eddie, he was about 16 years old. He was about that skinny, his hair was down here. I said, oh my God, he won't last a week. Eddie worked 3 years at Sony plant for us, went to college. I won't go the whole story. Went to law school with 3 kids, married our office girl. We got him a job and a wife. Not the same time, but he got him a job and a wife. Eddie Sorrells, who's our president today, drove with Chief White and some other guys 3 or 4 days a week, never missed a beat at work, and became an attorney, and been with 34 years now. He's our president. I'm so proud of him. I'm honored, a great honor. Thank you very much, and God bless Alabama, God bless Dothan. We live in the greatest city in the world, no doubt. Thank y'all.
Yes, sir, we are. We are. Honor very well deserved. Marty, thank you for all you meant to that story as well. So, Alan, congratulations from all of us to the Chamber and the Dothan Area Young Professionals. We're so proud to honor you tonight. Our next honoree, our next laureate, is our own Matt Parker, President of Dothan Area Chamber of Commerce.
Born in Salt Lake City, Utah, on November 13, 1963, James Matthew Matt Parker's story is one of unwavering dedication to community and economic advancement. From his earliest days, Matt valued the bonds of family, considering his brother not just a sibling, but his closest confidant. Possessing a natural drive, he channeled his energy into both athletics and industrious pursuits, always finding a project or job to occupy his time when not competing. A passion for running fueled his ambition, yet he remained steadfast in his pursuit of a college education. This dual focus led him to Auburn University in 1984, where he excelled in cross-country and track. More importantly, it was there that he met Ann Tamblin. Matt and Ann married in 1988, establishing their roots in Dothan, Alabama, a community they would nurture and transform. Together, they raised their daughter, Mariah, and son, Chase, pouring countless hours into supporting their children's education, athletic, and extracurricular endeavors, building a strong family foundation. Matt's professional journey began at the Southeast Alabama Regional Planning Commission. This foundation propelled him to the Dothan Area Chamber of Commerce in 1995, where he initially served as Vice President of Economic Development before stepping into the role of President in 1999.
Well, I guess, when I think about Matt is just known for his ability throughout the state to work regionally across county lines, across that city line as well. So, it's really nothing for Matt to work in Henry County, Coffee County, Geneva County, wherever, even across the state line, working in Jackson County with our counterparts down there. And it's really because he sees the overall holistic benefit of economic development. He understands that what is good for Dothan and Houston County is good for Geneva and Henry and those other surrounding communities. And what's good in those communities benefits us here in Dothan and in Houston County as well.
Throughout his distinguished career, Matt has been a driving force behind Southeast Alabama's remarkable growth. He has worked tirelessly, forging strong partnerships with business leaders, elected officials, and state and federal agencies to attract investment and cultivate economic opportunities.
Matt is pretty much a miracle worker. I can't tell you how many economic development jobs or projects we've been in that we all thought were dead, that somehow Matt would resurrect. Even sometimes when we would have entities together that wouldn't even be in the same room, Matt would talk to one and then talk to other almost like a lawyer, and before we knew it, we had a project. He could even make folks like me and Mike Schmitz and Pat Thomas and David Money and other elected officials look good. And if he can do that, he's a miracle worker. He was always cognizant of making his elected officials look good and him not taking any credit for any things that we used to do.
Since 1999, Matt's tireless efforts have yielded remarkable results, creating over 20,000 jobs and generating over $3 billion in capital investment, leaving an enduring legacy on the Wiregrass region. His dedication and vision have truly shaped the landscape of Southeast Alabama.
I've had the opportunity to work with Matt Parker for several years while being the chairman of the Industrial Development Board of the City of Dothan. And I tell you what, I've been amazed by his innovative thinking and creative ways of putting a deal together when we look at an industrial prospect that's looking in our area. You know, when he sees something that's good for our community and he believes in it, believes it's good, and he knows it will create jobs, Matt never stops trying to put that deal together. Matt, you deserve the recognition tonight, and you deserve the induction into the Dothan Business Hall of Fame. And on behalf of everyone in this room tonight, we want to thank you for what you do for our community to create jobs and make our community a better place.
It doesn't matter what kind of industry or whatever, he'll figure out the grants or whatever you need or whatever to make it happen. But like Haynes said, he does not want any recognition. Matter of fact, it was probably a tough time to get him to accept this award here into the Hall of Fame, but he's very deserving, and we're proud of you, Matt.
Alan, I think our picture was about 25 years ago. You know, one thing, I don't know if it kind of freaked you out when we began the program today, but when I saw Pat Thomas and Mark Culver carrying this big striped barrel going to the mayor, I kept going, God, that looks like the Cat in the Hat. So I'm glad it's a barrel, Mayor. So thank you. I cannot tell you how honored and appreciative I am to be inducted into the Dothan Area Business Hall of Fame, and really want to thank our Dothan Area Young Professionals and our Dothan Area Chamber of Commerce leadership for this honor. I thank Jeff Coleman for his vision in creating this event. I've been fortunate to work with so many of these inductees through the years, and Jeff's acknowledgement to bring the young leaders of tomorrow to learn more about the past leaders that have built our region and has been a great initiative to capture the area's past while building for tomorrow. You know, this honor, I spent hours and sleepless nights thinking about things because everybody in this room has meant so much to my career and the support over time. I thank each and every one of you. And again, as I said, the honor is reflective of so many people, and you guys have all been influenced in my life through time and have mentored, loved, pushed, trained, and kept me in place when needed to. First of all, I do want to thank God and my family. I'm truly blessed to have great parents. In this day, if you're fortunate to have great parents, you're way ahead of the game in life. My mom and dad built a foundation for me growing up. They worked long hours to provide for my brother and me, and they wanted us to have the opportunities that they did not have with getting a college education. But they were brilliant and great examples for my brother and I. I still say to this day, if my dad would have ever entered Jeopardy, I think he would have set records. He was brilliant on that game. I couldn't believe it. My brother, he was my best friend. He was 5.5 years older than me, and I was the benefactor of his experience and guidance in my pursuit in a running career, and he told me I could go far and get an education doing it. To my wife, I met one fall at Auburn my second year. I didn't really circle around and see her again until the spring, but I asked my running buddy, I said, who is that girl? And he goes, oh, that's Animal. And I said, Animal? What do you mean by that? And he goes, well, her name's Ann, but she's called Animal. She was a water ski jumper at Callaway Gardens, and some guy was giving her a hard time, and she backflipped him and kept him in place. So good for you, Ann. But thank you, Ann, for your love and support, and you have done an excellent job raising Chase and Mariah and me. You still have work to do with me, but we're proud of Chase and Mariah and your accomplishments. You've been a strong guiding source for me, and I love you. To my coaches at Auburn, Mel Rosen, Kelly Sullivan, you created opportunities for me and 3 other West Coast runners who darkened the Auburn campus in the fall of 1984. Thank you. For me and my 3 teammates that got the opportunity to go to Auburn, it was not an easy road to get there. We both struggled with, all of us struggled with injuries and challenges to try to pursue higher level running. But somehow you saw inside us our ability to overcome the challenge and persevere. And I think through all those experiences and hardships, it really meant so much to us all when we had our successes in track and field. It was through Auburn that I learned about the Wiregrass area, traveling down to Florida State for good old-fashioned dual meets and Gainesville, Florida relays, where I first learned about the area. And little did I know, my future wife would end up doing her clinicals in speech pathology, finishing her degree, and Dothan would be our home. To our amazing business leaders and past chairs at the Chamber, your support and continued involvement is obvious. You're always building and plowing ahead to position our area and our region for the next opportunities. Your willingness to maintain your daily jobs and still give so much of your time to build our community is testament to all the great things that are happening in the Wiregrass. To our Wiregrass Foundation, through the years, you have always challenged us, all of us, our city, our county, our organization, to make things better for our region. John Edge, Finch Edge, Dr. Barbara Alford, and Troy, thank you for your work and your challenge. I'm really so very thankful for all the elected officials I've worked with over the last 35 and a half years. I mean, governors, mayors, Alfred Saliba, Chester Sal, Pat Thomas, Mike Schmitz, Mark Saliba, Chairman of our counties, Robert Crowder, Mark Culver, and Brandon Shoup, all the commissioners and city managers. You have been so vital for our success and our growth, and I really can't thank you enough for what you've done for our area. To our representatives and senators, you know, Paul Lee, Senator Chastain, Steve Klaus, through the many, many years you guys have been in service, you've done so much to help us. And collectively, with all these partnerships and work, we wouldn't have been able to do it without your support and assistance. All right, to my past and current staff members, thank you guys for all that you do. I'm really not sure people realize all the things that you guys do each and every day at the Chamber. And they would not believe all the support you give people in our area. It's amazing. Lori, Colton, Lori Mock, Jessica, Malia, Mary Sue, Alicia, how you keep all the balls bouncing is utterly amazing. And I'm so proud and appreciative of your work. Colton, you are a superstar in economic development. And you married a speech pathologist, and your first kid was a girl. So this story has been written. Except for one thing. You're smarter than me. Mac Dove always said, hire people smarter than you and get out of their way. Thank you. Past staff, Janice, what can I say? You have been a stable force in my family and my work life for so many years, and your wisdom and opinions are always valued. You know that. Linda Kelly, your 30 seconds, what can I say? Thank you for your support and love of our chamber and all the impact you've had on so many lives in our community. Hayden, all I know is you know everything in Dothan, Alabama, and we're going to send your cell and mobile number out there for everybody so they can ask you questions. So thank you for your knowledge. Steve, you sometimes get overlooked a lot, but you're probably the best researcher in the United States. You've even helped universities with their models, but you have meant a lot to our work over the years, and it's been integral in our success with the research that you've done to do economic development. So thank you for all the years of support and service. Then I'm on to Dean. What can I say about Dean? You did a fantastic job at the Chamber, and your work at Hudson Alpha is going to take this area to a territory we don't know that exists. We're learning every day with what the work you're doing and your leadership. I can't thank you what you've done for our organization, but for our region, our community, man, look out. It's exciting. So thank you. Scott Farmer, Southeast Regional Planning Commission, thank you very much for your support. Your team is part of our staff. You know, you help us do a lot of things here. That's where I got my start. Freddie Dietz gave me the opportunity, and that really provided a foundation to find all those resources and things to get things done. And it was just a great start, and I can't thank you guys enough for all that support and leadership. I'm going to ask for forgiveness for many of you in the crowd that have contributed so much to the community. But I need to thank and recognize a few people. John Watson, thank you for teaching and mentoring me through my career. You've done so much for our region. We are all so much better off because of your love for our region. You are truly a model for all of us to guide and live our lives by. And you know what? You're the best economic developer in the United States. So we love you, and we can't thank you enough. You know, your team, Felton and Wayne and Watson Downs, they're amazing. Watson is going to be a superstar. Watson and Colton, get it rolling, man. Let's go. All right? But thank you, guys. Hayne, Hollis, thank you for teaching and mentoring and supporting me through the many, many years. Elected city commissioner, airport authority member, industrial development board member, super chamber volunteer, board member, everything, you name it. You do so much to help me and Colton and Adam at the airport, and I can't thank you enough for your guidance and wisdom, and just a tremendous asset in our community. Alan Livingston and Wally Hinesley, you know, these aren't billable hours, okay? Thank you guys for always being there. You know, when you look at the many years of service with Alan Livingston and Wally's guidance and support and assistance, giving us great input and support. Didn't matter when you called Wally. If you got him after 2 a.m., you'd probably catch him. But Alan, you've always been there, and Wally, to help us and guide us through so many projects that have led to so much success. Can't thank you enough for your work and support and helping us get there. Danny Sharp, I can't thank you enough for all your years of being our Chamber Foundation president, your board membership and chairmanship at the Chamber as well, bringing home McLean. You love this community. You're always doing things, and it's highly recognized, so thank you. All right, few business leaders and regional leaders I got to mention. David Money, Billy Helms, Jimmy Money, Ray Marler, Jody Singleton, Rhonda Harrison, the Rain family, James Rain, Jimmy Rain, Kevin Savoy, Gene Woodham, Jack McWilliams. We are all Henry County. Just remember that, okay? Thank you guys for your love and support in growing this region and being so collaborative. To our other leaders throughout this area, you know, Chairman Say and Toby Say in Geneva County, Brad Kimbrough, Senator Chastain, Chairman Steve McKinnon, Mark Blankenship, Mayor, you know, Dr. Young, Dr. Marnix Heersink, Mary Beth, you've always been a great resource for helping us on so many things. Velma, I think we're on a lot of boards together, Velma, but thank you for your wisdom and guidance. And really, Holly Smith and Veronica Kroc, they're great leaders, building collaboration in a regional economic development area. And I can't thank you for all the things you guys do. And we all have learned through the years, people invest in areas, in regions. They don't really particularly invest in towns. So you guys carry that flag all the time. Alan Clark and David Parsons, got to do it with the two laureates here. Thank you guys for all your work and friendship over the many, many years. It is a tremendous honor to be sandwiched between you two superstars for this induction, and I can't thank you enough. David, thank you for always your willingness to serve in our community, chairing our 4-County Industrial Development Authority. That has been amazing. And, you know, people sometimes forget this too, but, you know, David's also the president of the Dothan Houston County Foreign Trade Zone program. And I know he's getting done with tax season right now, but my phone is ringing off the hook with all the tariff stuff. So we've got 2 projects out there, so get some rest fast. Bob Woodall and Mike Schmitz, you guys are the regional and community cheerleaders, and your energy is contagious, and we are so much better off with your energy, wisdom, and leadership through the many, many years. Thank you, gentlemen. Pat Thomas. Not only are you a great friend and mentor, but thank you for your leadership and your commission's leadership when you served. You saw a need to elevate Dothan. You did what you had to do to put us in a stronger position on our infrastructure, as did Alfred when he was mayor. And we're all reaping the benefits from that hard work and that pain. That's not easy to do what you had to do, but thank you. And thank you for your leadership with the Downtown Redevelopment Authority, with the city and the county and the DDRA. downtown's rolling, so thank you. As you all know, I love being involved in youth sports and have enjoyed my children's activities through time. And when they finished up and Chase headed up to UAB to play tennis, man, I was idle. So I had these smart people at Houston Academy, Vince Janney, Coach Kerry Hart, and Coach Eddie Brundage reached out to me and said, hey, we want to unidle you, and we want you to help us out with cross country and track. And I can't thank you enough for the opportunity and the joy it is to work with our kids and all the other programs in the county to see these kids aspire to great things. And, you know, I just got one thing to say. Let's build that track. In closing, I really cannot thank Mark Culver enough for his many, many years of service. He has really been a rock in my career, and he's really taken economic development at the county level to a new level. We hit the ground running in 1999, and it didn't stop with the McLean project. And his spirit to get things done, create jobs, build infrastructure continues, and we're better off because of that. And his tone for collaboration and impact throughout our whole region is evident. I know he lays claim to training 5 mayors he worked with during his career. So enough is said. That was good for right now, Culver. That's all I'm going. To Mayor Mark Saliba, thank you, and thank the Commission for your work, collaboration, and your high energy and deep thought to move our area ahead. You and Brandon Shoup and his commission and your city staff and county staff, you're all moving our area to a new height. As you know, our state economic development plan is called Catalyst, but locally I'm calling our plan Elevate. As you guys are blazing new trails to build on our past, but building a new and exciting future for our region. Again, thank you for this honor, and know to all out there, each of you have touched me and my family's lives, and we are so very appreciative, and thank you, and God bless.
Matt, it's a long time coming. It's been deserved for many years, but isn't it just like Matt? He gets up here for an acceptance speech and gives the accolades to everyone else. So we wouldn't be this successful and be the great community you are without you. So thank you, Matt. Our next laureate is David Parsons of the Parsons Group. We have a video.
After growing up in Fort Payne, Alabama, and graduating from the University of Alabama, David began his accounting career working for a national firm in Houston, Texas in 1972. In 1974, David decided to return to Alabama, and fortunately, an accounting position opened in Dothan. In 1974, David knew exactly one person in Dothan, his employer. After attaining partnership, David decided his best opportunity for the future was in his own hands. He started David W. Parsons and Company in 1977 with no employees, 14 clients, and $30,000 in revenue. Most importantly, in 1979, David met and married the love of his life, Gail McLeod Parsons, who for 45 years has stood beside him through thick and thin, often sacrificing personally and financially so that David could do the civic or business work necessary. Gail has been the solid rock that encouraged and kept David positive when things got difficult. David was always interested in moving Dothan forward. He became involved in numerous civic organizations. His most important civic work began when he became involved in the Dothan Area Chamber of Commerce. Along with his sidekick Hayne Hollis and other civic leaders, David worked to change the face, direction, culture, and effectiveness of the chamber. After serving as chairman, David helped start Dothan by Design, which ultimately evolved into Grow Dothan. He helped convince the city to more aggressively fund the chamber. Currently successful businesses operating in Dothan reflect David's entrepreneurial spirit and, along with his partners, created hundreds of jobs in the Wiregrass. Successful businesses David helped create include ID Associates, Bama RV, National Car Rental, and other successful companies. A current project that he, along with Brian Applefield and the board, is especially proud of is the Wiregrass Pets Rescue and Adoption Center. Currently under construction, this $10 million facility will be the finest facility in the nation. The center will positively impact the community, economic development, and more importantly, our pets' lives for decades to come. But perhaps his most impactful accomplishment during this time is the Wiregrass Foundation. David, along with John Edge and other founding board members, established the foundation, a nonprofit that has funded over $80 million in grants throughout the community during the past 20 years and hopefully into perpetuity. Aside from his family, of which he is understandably beyond proud, his involvement in the foundation will likely be his most profound legacy.
I first met David Parsons in the late 80s, early 90s as we were serving on the executive committee at the Dothan Area Chamber of Commerce. You know, it wasn't long after working alongside of David that I realized that he wanted to be a part of making things happen in this community. He didn't want to just serve on a board, he wanted to be a part of making things happen and making Dothan and Houston County a better place to live.
I had the opportunity to work with David at the Chamber of Commerce, serving on the board together back in the 90s. We had the pleasure there of serving under some great leaders. I still laughingly think back to a moment where he and I were serving on the board, and David and I would like to banter a little bit back and forth and talk about things in our community, talk about things we thought needed to be done. But in that bantering one time, our chairman, Hayne Hollis, pulled us aside and wanted to know, is there some problem between the two of you guys? Why are y'all kind of always at each other in this meeting? And we looked at each other and kind of laughed and said, that's just the way we interact. We have fun at what we do, we have opinions about what we do, but we respect and trust each other's judgment. So we've always laughed and said, you know, sometimes in the manner in which you interact with others kind of gives off some clues to the closeness of those relationships, and certainly I feel like that I have that type of respect and trust with David. I saw many great ideas come out at our Chamber of Commerce, many great ideas in serving with him on the Wiregrass Foundation and the good deeds that are being able to be done in our community, and the passion that he has for our community, the passion he has for our people, and always wanting to do the right thing for our community has always inspired me to make sure that I was doing my part in joining with him and others in our service together for our community.
Isn't it ironic that we're having this ceremony tonight on April the 15th as I've just endured my 53rd tax season? Thank God. And for all you stragglers out there who haven't completed your return yet, we still have till midnight to get your extension in. So see my partner, Levi Tate, right over here. After the ceremony, we'll take care of that for you. For a nominal fee, of course. I'm especially honored to have so many members of our extended family here with us tonight. Pete and Margaret Wilcox, Kirby, Karen and Stuart Parks, Keith and Dawn Hadley, and Michael O'Brien, most of whom traveled hundreds of miles to be here. Thank you for coming. My father was a big, strong, uneducated man who worked for the Southern Railroad. He had an uncompromising commitment to excellence, and he demanded that of my family. While Dad had very little formal education, he had a ton of worldly wisdom. When I was a youngster, my father, in his roundabout way of telling us that when we were 18, financially, we were going to be on our own. So he would often say, Charlie, he loved the comic strip Peanuts, so he nicknamed me Charlie Brown. Charlie, when you're 18, I'm going to show you a cold rabbit track, and breakfast is at the other end. He wasn't kidding even a little bit with that one. Another one of his many sayings was, can't, never could. Of course, I did not really appreciate that when I was growing up. But over the years, I've seen the value of what he was instilling in all of us. Whenever I have faced difficulty in my life, knowing that can't, never could has served me well. After getting over the shock of being selected to the Chamber's Business Hall of Fame, I quickly started thinking of all the people who helped me get to this special occasion. Now, one thing I know for sure is that no one is blessed with an honor like this on their own merit, and I'm certainly proof positive of that. And I can't thank everyone I need to thank tonight as much as I would like to, but if I did, you stragglers would miss your midnight tax deadline. But I do have to acknowledge some great longtime mentors who have not only given me sage advice over the years, but more importantly, have shown me how to approach business and life by the way they lived their own personal and business lives. I will forever be grateful to John Edge, John Watson, Hayne Hollis, Keith Granger, Jerry Tice, Wally Hinsley, David Johnston, Larry Bloomberg, Matt Parker, John and Jed Downs. Your personal commitment in helping me to grow as a man and as a businessman has been invaluable to me. And all of you have been and continue to be a blessing to the entire Wiregrass. I simply would not be standing here tonight without your investment of time, counsel, and encouragement. In addition to being a mentor, John Edge has also been among the many outstanding business partners that I have had who believed in and trusted me to help make the ventures we were involved in over the past 50 years to be successful. Joe Malugian and Harrison Parrish, my partners many times in the 80s and 90s, especially in the video business. In 1999, Louis Samara, Ronnie Stevens, and I formed ID Associates, a successful manufacturing company. In 2016, my partner Eric Moore came on board at Bama RV, and with Eric's guidance, Bama has done extremely well. Steve Hodge partnered with me in Bear Creek Subdivision in 2020 and Heritage Ridge Subdivision in 2023. Both subdivisions sold successfully. But let me tell you about three more partners. Beginning in the early 70s, Bill Hand and I had lunch and went fishing and hunting together frequently. But one day in 2009, when the entire country was suffering through the economic meltdown, Dr. Hand and I were riding to lunch talking about a possible real estate transaction. At that point, Bill and I had never done a business deal together. That's why I was stunned when he looked at me on the way to Chili's and said, "I would much rather invest in David Parsons anytime than in the stock market." That endorsement was a game changer in my life. The confidence he expressed in me at that moment was a shot in the arm when I really needed it. And from that point on, we created several successful businesses together, including Bama RV, National Car Rental, and several successful real estate developments. Fortunately, Bill and I are still business partners to this day. Thank you, Bill, from the bottom of my heart. The business partner who, without question, has made the greatest difference over the longest time is Suzanne Stubbs. Without her hard work, commitment to excellence, management skills, and personal sacrifice, Parsons Group could not have been successful. Often when we would discuss business development for Parsons Group, she would say, "You get them, I'll keep them." Her commitment was rock solid and proved to be true time and time again. I met Suzanne in 1978, 47 years ago, when I was about to hire my first professional employee. Suzanne was one of the two final candidates I was considering when on a fateful Saturday morning, I heard what became the most important knock on the door of my tiny four-room office in Park Lane Plaza. I turned, and there was Suzanne standing in the doorway, unannounced. She looked me straight in the eye, and this is all she said. "If you give me this job, you will never regret it." Then, without another word, she turned and walked away. And guess what? She spoke the truth. I have never, ever regretted hiring Suzanne. Having her as my business partner and friend through all the growth, success, and yes, even difficulties we both experienced in business and just in life for almost 5 decades has been a blessing beyond any expectation. I am convinced my hiring her was guided 100% by God Almighty. One of the absolutes that I never doubted was that Suzanne was going to stand with me, behind me, or carrying me as needed, no matter what. Thank you, Suzanne, for making our firm, Parsons Group, what it has become. When Suzanne retired 2 years ago, Levi Tate, who started with us as an intern almost 10 years ago while he was still at Troy, became my partner at Parsons Group. After all these years in business, I'm thankful to be able to work with Levi on a daily basis and to know that I will turn the reins of Parsons Group over to a man of such integrity, commitment to excellence, devotion to his family, an exceptionally strong work ethic, and even stronger Christian faith to continue the legacy of our firm. Now to my civic thank yous. It is true that I have invested a lot of my life with the goal of moving our community forward. And some of you probably think that my investment of time might have been used more effectively just focusing on my accounting practice. You may be right in terms of actually making more money, but I'm a firm believer that the time and effort I invested in our community has been returned to me many times over, both in my business life and personally. Obviously, the Chamber has always been an important part of my life since the early 90s. Every position I have held in the Chamber was meaningful to me and helped solidify and strengthen my relationships with all that I have worked with, including, of course, Matt Parker, which frankly, being inducted into the Chamber's Business Hall of Fame on the same night as Matt makes this all the more special. I believe through our work together, along with the work of many others, we changed the face and future of not just Dothan, but the entire Wiregrass. One really good example of our belief in regional economic development began with the formation of the Houston County Industrial Development Authority, which Matt mentioned over 10 years ago, which I've been honored to chair since the beginning of the authority. In 2019, when Jimmy Rain was working to put the $40 million Greenbush Wood Products facility in Abbeville in the old West Point Pepperell building, you all know it sat there empty for years, we expanded the authority to include Henry County so that we could help with that project, which was an incredible boost to Abbeville and Henry County, creating more than 100 jobs. Subsequently, we added Dale and Geneva counties, helping to land the nitrile glove manufacturing facility, ISA Alabama Corporation, creating 80 new jobs with an investment of $17 million. In fact, one of the authority board members from Henry County, my friend and hunting partner, Benny Smith, is sitting right over here tonight. Thank you, Benny, for your service to the Wiregrass. At the end of the day, when I think about what I am most proud of, I look at my family. I know my family sacrificed a lot because of all the time I invested away from home over the years. And now, as I look at you tonight, I'm so proud to see success in each one of you. My daughter, Sabrina, is an incredible wife, mother, artist, author, and entrepreneur. She and Todd have owned Vintage, a successful, award-winning restaurant in Destin for the past 25 years. The Destin community recently voted Vintage their #1 restaurant, and candidly, it is and has been the very best for all those years. More importantly, Sabrina and Todd have raised two beautiful and talented daughters, Alex and Savannah, each successful in their own careers. Scott, likewise, is a fantastic husband, father, businessman, and of course, civic leader. I'm proud when folks tell me he's an apple that didn't fall far from the tree. He helped create the Dothan Area Young Professionals, Live at the Opera, and along with his wife Callie and a few other couples, created the Loop Music and Art Festival, a huge success for the community, which I'm sure many of you enjoyed just this past weekend. Scott has also served as a board member and vice president of the Dothan Area Chamber of Commerce. He's an excellent musician, and he's the manager of the local Merrill Lynch office. He and Callie, a superstar in her own right, have raised two outstanding sons, twins, Henry and Oliver. And one more thing I can brag about is that both of those guys participated on the Providence Christian School basketball team that just won this year's Class 2A state basketball championship in a 28-point blowout in the championship game. Go Eagles! That really was a lot of fun, I'll tell you that. My younger son, Sean, is an actor, writer, producer, and musician who has performed throughout the Southeast, and last year released a number of singles. He has appeared in successful TV series over the years, including Justified, NCIS, Containment, as well as several movies and award-winning short films. In 2014, he starred in a hilarious short film, The Gunfighter, that was recognized at the Sundance Film Festival. And just this year, his short film, Somebody Cares, was also recognized and debuted at the Sundance Film Festival. He continues to work every day with an incredible determination and work ethic to become even more successful in his acting and music career. So yes, I'm proud of what each of my children has accomplished, but I'm most proud of how tightly you have held to each other and the support and encouragement you have given each other all of your lives, and as a result, strengthened our family bond. And finally, my wonderful wife for 46 years, Gail. Everybody loves Gail. She's so popular that I often introduce myself as Mr. Gail Parsons. Gail taught first grade at Wicksburg for 14 years, and her former students still love and adore her. They often write and tell her what a positive, life-changing impact she had on their lives, and she really did. She's had to sacrifice a lot over the last 4.5 decades, but amazingly, she's never wavered in her support of me, regardless of the circumstances. Of course, there have been highs and there have been lows, but she rode with me through it all as a constant encourager with that big, beautiful smile on her face. Now, I may have deserved to have my neck wrung a time or two during this period of time, but we won't go into the details of that tonight. But I have to say I'm most thankful to her, not only for guiding our family over these years, but also for encouraging my spiritual growth. I look forward to the rest of our lives together, and I'm so grateful God chose you to be my bride. Thank you, sweetheart. I hope I've been clear about how deeply grateful I am for this honor, which I share with so many, for all that you have done for me, and for your efforts towards moving the entire Wiregrass forward, making this a better place to live in and to raise our families, and also our pets. As you saw in the video, I'm passionately involved in the Wiregrass Pets Rescue and Adoption Center, a no-kill shelter, now under construction just outside the Circle on Hartford Highway. We are currently finishing up our fundraising to purchase $800,000 worth of equipment for the center. So if you have not already contributed, please consider doing so before our grand opening, July the 1st. This facility will make a big difference in our community and contribute to economic development and certainly to our quality of life in Dothan. I hope you won't miss the opportunity to be blessed and to be a blessing to our community and to our precious pets. So, thank you for this wonderful honor. Good night
and may God bless you all.